What's it like being a female expat living in Asia? Will I ever be able to date anybody again? And what do I do if I can't find the right foundation for myself? Well, if those questions or anything along those lines have ever occurred to you, great to have you with me. My name is Wendy, and for more than 3 decades, I have lived and worked in 5 different countries in Asia. And I still live and work in Asia now in Thailand. And today I want to cover something which is a cultural touchstone issue, and this is to do around the festivals of things like Christmas or Hanukkah or Easter, not only the Christian religious touchstones, but Thanksgiving or whatever it is, the Melbourne Cup for Australians, big cultural events when you're living away from home. And the reason I want to talk about that is kind of convoluted in a little way, because I'm right now in Bangkok, which is about 300 k's from where I normally live. And I've come up to Bangkok with a group of ladies, other fellow expats, and we came up to see a community theatre show, of all things, of Mamma Mia, put on by the Bangkok Community Theatre Group. Just want to give them a shout out because actually they were really great. Choreography was really good, costumes were fantastic, and it's Mamma Mia, so we all sang along. So we've come up to do that. But part of the reason we're staying overnight, and part of the reason I want to talk about this cultural touchstone thing is because on the list of things I wanted to do was to get to IKEA, of all things, to go and check out their Christmas decorations. Now, that seems like a long way to come just to get some Christmas decorations. But I'm a Christmas person. I love Christmas. And I've been away from, my home country for such a long time that these types of events, whatever it is, the sort of cultural touchstone events, bring on a certain significance, which is a little bit even, I would say, even stronger than it might even be at home. My kids have left home. I'm living by myself. I've got a cat and a dog, and I still put up a Christmas tree and I put up all the lights and all of that kind of thing. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm not alone with that. Because one of the things that happens to you when you're living away from home is that you start to crave a connection with the place that you've left. Now, lots of people do leave, their home country and wash their hands of it and are quite happy to just never ever go back and never look back either. But for a lot of us who've lived away for a long time, there is a kind of a hankering for the things that are familiar to us, particularly as we get older. So whereas in the past we may have only paid, marginal attention to a particular festivity or a particular calendar date that has some kind of cultural significance, the ties start to get a little bit stronger. And I think that's a way of us trying to keep some part of us in that home country, even though we're very happy with our lives as expats. And certainly that is the case for me. So as ridiculous as it sounds, every time there's anything, like be it Poppy Day or Anzac Day or, any of the other things that we do celebrate in our home countries, actually take on a certain significance for expats who are away. Now, for something like Anzac Day, and now living in Thailand, that's particularly significant because, the Anzacs fought, all through Asia, and you can go to Kanchanaburi and you can see there's a prisoner of war camp, or that's where the what's it called, the death rail existed. But it's not only in this country that's been the case for me. It's been in every country that I've ever been to. I've been to dawn services, or I've had other things that I've done that have linked me to that day. And it is the same with Christmas. Christmas becomes huge. Commercially, yes, of course, that's significant for local businesses. But more than that, it's this idea that we all get together and we all have this one thing that we do that might be different to all the other people around us, all the other people that we're living with. And it brings us together in a sort of a unity that is significant to expatriates. And that is something that you might want to think about before you decide to become an expat, or maybe it's something you have some opinions on. I've never met more nationalistic people than expats who have lived away for a long time, who need to celebrate, their day, Australia Day, St. George's Day, bringing in the haggis. That happens in places like Hong Kong. They have the whole, St. Andrew's Day. All of that all happens overseas. And it happens to a very strong degree. Everybody gets dressed up. It's a big thing. It's a big social thing. And it's that link. It's that link to where we've come from and where we are. So don't think that simply because you're living overseas you're going to let go of these things. You might have the biggest, best, most outrageous Thanksgivings that you've ever had not actually in your home country. You might have weeks of, Christmas preparation in a climate that is totally unfamiliar to you in any other Christmas setting in your new country. You'll, deliberately set out and find other people who are like you so that you can share that one cultural link. That is an interesting part of the expat experience that I just thought I'd bring up quickly today. If you've got any thoughts or comments, do leave them below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much to all my new subscribers this last week. It's lovely to have you with me. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.